Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon or good evening, because I know some of you are coming in from other places in the world. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gold Rush Mastermind. And I'm super excited because my special guest today is Curtis. Curtis Harland is coming in from Missouri, isn't it? Missouri, Curtis?
That's correct.
Yep. Yeah, wow, right in the middle of America. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful that you said yes. Curtis was a guest once before. You knocked it out of the park. People were so excited to hear about your journey. It was a very personal story, and we really appreciate how much you shared with us, and that was very kind. And it gave us great insight into real estate and the banking system, and it was right up Jimmy's alley, who's here. Really, it's an amazing how certain pivotal moments in our lives really do affect the choices that we make later. And I think that goes without saying for a lot of us when it comes to a lot of different decisions that we've made. And so I thank you for coming today to share a little bit more about the difference between real money and currency. And I did a funny little post today. I did a funny little post on my Facebook story where I said, "This is the value of your fiat currency." And it was a toilet roll of money in a bathroom. So I got quite a few laughs out of that one. So I'm so excited to have you share a little bit more about kind of educating us a little bit on this paper currency that we've been forced into, and along with how we can get out of this so-called centralized type of banking and how we can protect our wealth as well as grow our legacy for future generations. So thank you, Curtis, for being here. Take it away.
Well, thank you, Tony, for having me. And I've been an entrepreneur pretty much my entire life. I've owned businesses since I've been 13 years old, and I've been in the financial system for a lot of years. I just never was taught the difference between currency and money, or fake money and real money. I handled a lot of it. But until I got involved in, 7K, and then they started talking about, but I'm the type person that I really like to dig into history and how things were created and where everything started at. And I shared this last week, or it might've been on this week on one of our Zoom calls that we did. And that's why I'm here today. But I'm going to share this with you guys. Let me minus this down so I can see. Zoom causes those little gray blocks to show up, and I don't like it because then you can't see everything. But when it comes to currency versus money, in the late 1700s, America was dealing with Spanish mill dollar, and on May of the 10th of 1775. They printed their first fiat currency, I call it. This currency was called Continentals, and what it allowed was it allowed banks to give these to bearers, and they could exchange them for 50 Spanish mill dollars, or if you notice on this note, you could exchange it for gold and silver. And this went on for about 5 years, but what happened? This is the coin version of it. You can see that 1776 on there. And I bring that up because I think it has, at least in American history, it's got a lot of points in there about how when the financial system was created, and even some of the financial systems around the world, they all communicate with the central banking system. But what happened is, in 1779, which is just 4 years after creating the Continental, it had lost 3,900% of its value. And in the United States, it was made a crime that if you didn't accept Continentals, that debt would actually be forgiven. In the state of Virginia, it was in the Constitution that if you declined Continentals, that debt would be forgiven. And that's when the American, they added an important part to their Constitution. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't know about, but it's in Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution. It says that no state shall make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. And if you look at our financial system today, we operated in basically from the late 1700s for over 100 years. This would have been to the late 1800s into early 1900s. We dealt with physical gold and silver coins, and this is actually a gold eagle that was minted back in 1903. But in the Federal Reserve, when it was created in 1913, you notice I'm going to bring up that point right in the corner. I'll blow it up here. It says redeemable in gold on demand at the United States Treasury, or in gold or lawful money. I want to bring up that word lawful money, because what that is that's really a legal term that attorneys use inside of constitutions or inside of bills that they actually, when they create things. But you could have taken this dollar bill, exchanged it for gold at any Federal Reserve or United States Treasury entity. And if you notice, that's 1920 on that bill. But I remember that we were using physical gold and physical silver up to a certain point. And that brings up the history. But I thought that this was kind of interesting. This $100 bill that was created back in 1920, the only number that's actually on that is the number 7, which there's a lot of neat, significant things about the number 7. It means completion. But anyway, we'll talk about that. But what it was this was a legal contract with currency that was backed by gold. And all U.S. currency was backed by gold up to 1971. But what happened is that I call it the big banking industry. They made it a crime, and this goes back to the crimes. The first crime was in 1779, when they made it a crime that if you didn't handle continentals, your debt would be forgiven. And then Americans started figuring out that, hey, this gold and silver has got some value. So then they had an executive order that basically make it illegal for anyone to hold gold bullion, gold coins, or gold certificates. And this is Executive Order 6102 that was written in 1933. And that went on for about 40 years. It was not until 1975 that Americans could actually freely own gold and trade in gold. And that was the Gold Reserve Act. You can kind of read some of that if you want to look at American history, but that's what was going on. Is the big banks, I'll call them, the financial system was forcing people to go a certain way. And then when they no longer backed the currency with gold, in 1971, they actually did that. This is the new dollar. It's neat. Well, it's kind of scary what they put on the note. And here's a $100 bill, and I'll blow it up. But if you look right here, you can see that this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. It kind of makes me nervous of what's that private word? Why is that private word on there? But also I bring up that, that 1776 date, going back to the Continentals. That's been in our American history for years. And a lot of people, when I talk to them about, the digital realm of money, they think that it's going to be cryptocurrency. But I don't believe that is going to happen. And here's why I don't believe that. If you look at the national debt from 1940 to the present, this is what has happened. This is the amount of money and the amount of currency that's been in circulation. And it's not only in the United States. I know it's in Canada and all over the world. But this is the purchasing power of currency. And the currency in circulation. The blue line represents the purchasing power, and the red line represents the currency in circulation. And you can just see that the purchasing power has continually declined. And the more money they create, the less purchasing power that currency has. And this is statistics. No fiat currency has ever made it. It's on a 100% failure rate. You can look back to Germany. You can look back to Argentina, South Africa. You can look at the latest one, Romania, that their currency went away. And now if you're looking at the debt versus the savings. People cannot save anymore because the buying power, the purchasing power of their currency is not as good as it was, and it's their income is not increasing as much as the inflation is increasing. And you know, it goes back to ancient times. We have used physical money, you know, and we've used that as security. We've been taught that. But I believe that it's about to be eliminated. And here's some articles that I had found. You know, the central banking systems are set to eliminate or even criminalize the use of physical cash. This was the Wall Street Journal. The U.S. should get rid of its $100 bills and other large notes. And it could happen really quick. You know, Christina actually wrote a little post-it and said that all digital currency would be good for users, bad for criminals, and better for the states. This is the big government when it comes to related to cash here that I'm talking about, and that's what she's referring to. And here's why I believe that it's going to be a digital currency in the banking system, not cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency and digital banking are two separate things. A lot of people, you know, will argue that, but in the United States, our government has passed the law. It's already happening in countries around us like Switzerland and Norway, where they do not accept cash or forms of cash. It is happening already in the United States in airports. If you go to some kiosks that are in the airport, they do not accept cash. They only accept, you know, a form of card payment, which would be a debit or credit card. And I share that because if you look at India, their currency was made up of 90% paper money, and it was eliminated within a 24-hour period by their banking system. And I believe that that's where the United States could be going fairly quickly. Here is a bill that was actually passed on March the 23rd of 2020 by the U.S. Senate. It's a bill that's called basically known as the Banking for All Act. This bill actually requires that all Americans have their currency be turned into what they call digital dollars. It means that every American will have a digital bank account, regardless of if they have one or not. In that, the government can deposit funds into that account, which is a negative interest account. What that means by a negative interest account is if you have $100 in there, and at the end of a month, you lose $3 if you do nothing. At the end of a year, it's like at 23%. So you would lose $23. So you would actually start the next year with what, $77, I think. So you've lost $23 in just 1 year by not doing nothing. And that's what a negative interest. And, you know, our government is requiring that to happen. It was written and approved by the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. You can Google that. It's Bill S.3571. And that is why that I believe that, you know, it's not going to go to cryptocurrency. It's going to go to that type of banking. And this is where I refer back to the lawful and unlawful money. And if you read that key takeaway up there, lawful money is currency, which is really money, issued by the United States treasurers, such as gold and silver coin, treasury notes, and treasury bonds. But then if you read down to the bottom, or even that second line, it says fiat money, which consists of paper money, checks, is not lawful money, but is considered a legal tender. All right. It just means that it's a legal contract until they decide that it's no longer binding. And that's what I am afraid is about to happen, because you go back to 1771 when they made it a crime to handle continentals. You go back to 1933 when they made it illegal for Americans to have gold. You're about to go into a time where it could be illegal for Americans to deal in cash. And even it's the problem that we got right now is the US dollar is the world currency. And a lot of countries handle that. And that's why I think, I don't want to get into political stuff here, but that's why you see China buying lots of gold. You see Russia getting lots of gold, and you see these other big countries that are trying to make some moves right now. And it's got me a little nervous. But, you know, oddly enough, our dollar that we carry around, you know, is just, it's legal tender, but it's only legal tender until someone, which is, I'm calling the banking industry, that decides that it's not. And this is why I think it is so important that people understand the purchasing power of real money. If you look at silver, in 1965, the US dollar was $1 and 1 ounce of silver. Both of those had the same buying power. Now, if you look at 2020, that $2,500 in cash would be lucky to buy the tires and rims on a Ford Mustang. But the 2,500 ounces of silver would buy 2 Ford Mustangs. Silver and gold will continue to buy what it's always bought. It will go up and down in value, but it will continue to buy what it's always bought. If we look at this, this is another analogy that really hit home for me, was if you look at 2001, how much, and this is not a very long period. I mean, this is, just in the last 20 years. It took 15 ounces of silver to pay an electric bill of $76. But today, it only takes 4 ounces of silver to pay a higher electric bill, but it uses less silver. So see how the buying power continues to increase? That's why it's important that people understand why it's important to have gold and silver. And that's really what, the difference is between currency and money. Currency is paper, all right? It's paper, it's checks, it's paper money. Money is gold and silver. The banking industry, they use money as an asset. They use currency as a liability. And if you understand in business, assets are good, liabilities are bad. So currency is bad, money is good. That's why the banking system, and I'm watching this happen in front of our eyes. You've got companies like JP Morgan, BlackRock, Maryland Capital, Saks Dome. These companies are taking fiat currency right now and they're buying ounces and hundreds and thousands of ounces of gold and silver. 400 tons. If you do the math on that, that is a lot of silver, a lot. And it's scary. And that's why, that's why I think the story of 7K is so important. We've got 2 sides to 7K. We've got a side that educates people about gold and silver bullion. And then we've got something that's called collectibles or numismatic coins. And this was on a leadership call that we had here just on Monday night. I actually recorded it with my phone. So I do apologize if the video is just a little bit off, but I want you to hear from the owners why they believe that 7K is so important right now, because we are disrupting the industry of gold and silver, and we're disrupting the industry of collectible coins. And I don't know if Josh shares it here, but if you look at big companies, you look at Microsoft and Apple, they disrupted the technology world, and companies like Netflix and Amazon, they've disrupted the way movies are seen, the way that people buy things. Today Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world, and that's because they've made it so easy to buy something online where they don't have to deal with all the travel and all the stuff, especially if you've got a Prime account where you can get it shipped to you in 2 days. So anyway, he's going to share just a little bit about that, and then I got just a couple other things that I want to share with you.
It's a big deal. And it's
okay. This is just a little sneak peek, guys. Okay, we're talking about a continuation of the next 25 Animal State Series.
Yep, and by the way, before you show this, just know, you guys, most vendors, especially if you're doing lots and lots of volume, most vendors are just happy. They're just happy, and they'll just keep doing it unless you say something. And many of you business owners know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless you go push and say, hey, we need this better, that better, this better, that better. They're just like, oh, good. They're not saying anything. We'll just keep saying what we're doing, right? That's not how our partners work, which is we're really blessed. And it's because they see what you guys are trying to do in the world. So what you're about to see, guys, like, we wish that we could take credit and say, we need these to look nicer, because frankly, they look nice in the first place. No, this is like our partners. They love you guys so much that they offered this to us. What Jason's going to show you. It's a nice little upgrade.
Okay, so this is Illinois Animal State Series. I hope this comes through. Okay, this is what we've been doing in the past. Okay, I hope this comes through, Blake, that you can see it.
Yep, we can see that good.
You can see it good?
We're
Okay.
hoping the difference shows up.
This is the new one. Okay, this is what's going to be changing. I hope, besides the picture, let's look at it.
Now
Oh,
put
yeah,
them
I
side
showed
by
it.
side, Jason.
Might have to tip it side by side.
Yeah, David says proof. Yeah. Guess what, David? It's actually still not a proof coin. It's still an MS coin. But their technology is so good that it's coming out like a proof.
You got to say something, Jason, so we can see your full screen.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'll keep talking. Nobody else talk for just a second. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Can you guys see the difference? I mean, look at the mirroring on this coin here.
Yeah.
Guys. And that,
What's cool is so Jason, first thing when I get in the office today, he had these on his desk. We had some other things to talk about. And I said, "Oh, we got some samples." He goes, "Yeah, we're going to talk about those in a minute." I'm like, "Uh-oh." And we talk about other stuff. We go over to Cancun and debrief and do some other things. And he goes, "Hey, did we? So, by the way, we kind of made the decision.
That's one of the videos I share that with you because 7K is a supplier of gold and silver and numismatic coins. And the technology that we have is years ahead of everybody else. One of our vendors, which is a Swiss mint, that's where these coins are coming from. We are the first company to ever do an exclusive state series on 2 different coins. One was the American Silver Eagle. We added just a label on there where it features one of the 50 states for all 50 states. And then what that video that you just seen there was part of the Animal Series. And that's the technology, how they are increasing the quality of these coins. And the only place that you can get these are through 7K or from a 7K member. If you have 7K doesn't actually sell them, they use their members as a distribution base. So really the only place you can get them is from a member, or the stack and sell, which is a member benefit. You can go on there and get those. But here's another video that's a continuation of that. So let me do this and play this video.
here's the back. Okay.
Turn it just a little bit so we can see dimension on it.
Oh, I always turn it the wrong. I always do it the wrong way. There we go. You guys see that? Do you remember on the first one we had a family of these eagles in a nest? This right here is a family of bears, just like we have on the front. We've got a picture of an eagle and the bears. Okay, it's just tying in. The last 25 states are going to have all these on it, and we still have a hidden 7K logo.
I see it. I see it right now.
You do?
I do.
Talk, Jason. Talk.
Okay, I'll keep talking. Stop talking, Blake, for just a second, and I will. Can you guys see it? Blake, what's amazing is you can actually see this one with the bare eye. So, but guys, I mean,
I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but let me stop my screen share so my screen will be a little bit bigger for you. Is that, let me minus this down. This is the old coin. And if you noticed how shiny it was on the back of that other coin, this was the front of it. Where he was talking about the family of bears and eagles circles the actual picture right here. The first 25 actually feature the family of eagles. And then the second 25 will actually feature the bears that were actually there. So anyway, the numismatic coins, if you don't know a lot about numismatic coins, what they are is they are coins that have actually been graded. This is a coin that's in a laser sealed hard plastic case. It is certified and graded by the NGC. And just to let you guys know about how big 7K is, this year in 2022, 7K will become the NGC's biggest customer, which means that we send more coins to the NGC to be graded than any other dealer in the world. So understand that we are disrupting the coin industry and the way that coins are distributed because of our partnerships with the Swiss Mint, the NGC, and the Miles Standish and all of that. I do want to share this since, and Jimmy may have just dropped off here, but my father is a firefighter, and I love things about firefighters, but this was one of the coins that 7K released. This was a 9/11 coin that was featured on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and it features, this is actually one of the firefighters, and on there's a lot of things. If you notice, there's a number on his shield that represents the number of firefighters and first responders that lost their lives during 9/11 or at that event. On the back of the coin, it actually has the old Twin Towers, and then you can see the firefighters that actually were fighting that fire. So for me, this is priceless. There's not a value on this that I would never sell it. I try and get as many of these. There are only 911 of these minted, and 7K didn't have exclusive on that, but this coin right now is selling for around $700. When we bought it from 7K, it was $499. So that's what collectibles can do, is they increase in value, because once they're out and in people's hands, if somebody wants to try and get that coin, then they got to buy it from somebody else. And that's what drives the price of those coins up. So, when we talk about collectibles and that, I think that's a very important part, because in gold and silver, there's an offensive play and a defensive play. The defensive play is you're trying to protect your money by buying bullion. And what that means, when you buy an ounce of silver or gold, you're protecting it, because it's going to always buy what it's always bought. And gold and silver spot, and the price and the value of it will always go up and down. But where the offensive play is in these collectibles. Through 7K, we were paying like $139 for these State Series, but some of the first few, they have reached the 8 and even the 900. Yeah, that one that Tony's got right there, that is one that is a high dollar coin. It's probably a $700 to $800 coin right now, which is, almost 5 times the value of it. And the longer that coin is out, especially when these back 25 get released, it's just going to drive the value up. So that's one of the things that we share when you talk about gold and silver, and why it's important to have a 7K membership. But let me show you this. This is a little bit of technology. I don't know if you can see it in there, but if you notice how the image is almost raised up off of the coin. You can see it just a little bit there. But that is the technology that we have with 7K and with the mint, is they just keep increasing that. And that's what we're talking about when we're years ahead of anybody else. The Swiss Mint just added an $18 million expansion that is only for 7K. So when it comes to dealers, we are their largest dealer. When it comes to suppliers and mints, there's several mints around the world. There's the US Mint, there's about 8 or 9. I don't know if there's 8 or 9 that are still producing, but we got Fort Knox, we've got the Denver Mint, the Philadelphia Mint. There's several different ones scattered across the United States. And then you've got, if you go into, there's the Canadian Mint, you've got the Perth Mint in Australia. They produce coins, and they produce silver and gold. And around the world, when you talk about collectibles, this is something that was shared with us in Cancun. And I know I'm going to share it with you guys this morning, but this is a Polish, it comes from the Polish Mint. It is a coin that there's only 16 of them. And this is the first one. This is called the Mandela Series. It was released in 2020. but there is not a complete set that anyone in the United States has right now. 7K, there are 3,000 of these coins that were minted from the Polish Mint. There are 3,000 of them. 7K worked out a deal with them, and they have over 500 complete sets that they are offering those coins to their members. And this was dropped in a coin drop last week. This was the first one. So you'll start seeing this coming from 7K. And what I think is neat is if you see that little ruby right in the middle, it features one of them on every one of the coins that they have. And I don't know if I can share this. I took some photos. I was stealing this from the Cancun event. So you guys are seeing some stuff hands-on here. So let me show you.
We have a very passionate Polish girl in our 7K.
Oh, really?
She's here with us right now, my dear friend Kasia.
Well, she maybe has heard about these coins. This
Yeah.
was actually, this is from the Polish Mint.
Yeah.
They're the Mandela set. My wife loves it. This is said, I will have this set. So I'm going to show you.
And Jimmy's back on as well. So it's two.
Yeah,
so
I'll make sure I show that. Can you see that picture? All right. This is the butterfly. Oh, let me see if I can slide it. I want to see if I can slide it here. That's the butterfly. And then that's going to be the dog. So I'll just kind of slide these through these. I can't see them all. Oop, went too fast. Sorry about that.
Those coins, I missed that drop.
Oh, here it is. I'll just show you this. Here's the complete set. So that's a picture of the complete set.
Wow.
There's 16 of them, and they're not in the US. 7K has they have 500 sets that they're offering to the members, and that is the only place that they can get them. That's the power of what we have here as members. So I think Jimmy's off here again. Yeah.
I think Jimmy's having internet issues because
internet issues. But anyway, you got this recorded, so maybe you can go back and watch the playback on it. But really, guys, that's about all I had to share with you. I don't know if there's any Q&As that you want me to do or something, Tony, but
yes, absolutely. If that's okay, I'd love to have some questions and answers from people who came today. Kasia, yes, please go ahead.
Oh my gosh. So I'm really Polish. Yes, I'm really Polish. Born in 1971 in Poland. And I've never seen this collection that you just showed us. So I don't know if I should be embarrassed, but I'm not. I don't care to be embarrassed. I'm happy that I'm learning it today.
Well, they're going to start releasing these coins throughout the 2022 year. They will come through coin drops. So if you have a membership, you'll be able to get them through your coin shop or drop. There's also something that 7K has as a member. If you're a 7K member, they have something called Stack and Sell. And this is a platform that does multiple things. If you're a buyer, it authenticates the coins. So if I'm a seller, I would sell those coins. They would go to Stack and Sell. Stack and Sell would verify that it is what I said it was, and then ship it on to the buyer. So there's an authentication process that happens. And then also it costs, Stack and Sell cost to someone who's outside of 7K that doesn't have a membership. And we have in beta testing right now, this will be talked more about at our Las Vegas event in May. We have some dealers that are putting their coins on Stack and Sell. We also have some dealers that know the value of some of these animal series, that what they do is they see them and they will buy them and then they resell them. And Stack and Sell has a feature that I did not know about until Monday. And I need to share this with you because inside that Stack and Sell, I'll show you what the app looks like. It's this little orange and yellow app here. I'll open it up so you can kind of see. I'm looking at, this is my stack that I've actually scanned in there. What happens is on every one of these coins, there's a barcode, and the app has the technology that I can actually open a camera, and what it's doing, and I'll see if I can do this right here. You can see that camera right there, and I'm going to hold this coin up behind it, and it's going to read that barcode. Now notice how it's grabbing the information, and then you can see that coin. So all I got to do now is just add that to my stack, and then it basically keeps track of my inventory for me. So that's how easy that is. That technology is created by NGC. We have partnered with them, and they create the format. We basically store it into our platform in Stack and Sell. So that's one feature. Let me show you this feature though. We have something called the marketplace. If you're in there, you go on the marketplace, and this lists all of the coins that Stack and Sell has inside of Stack. So it's like going to a store and you're looking at all the coins. Well, let me see if I can find that the Montana coin real quick. I don't know if I can find it fast.
Curtis,
Yeah.
Dr. Kim was saying, does the app tell you the current value of the coin?
It
I said
does.
yes, but it also tells you something else as well, doesn't it?
It does. It does. I was trying to find your Montana butterfly, because I know they're on here, but and I don't know if I can find it real quick. I might be able to. There it is, right here. Okay, yeah, it's a perfect one. So you can see here's the butterfly that Tony was holding up. That's just one of the first ones in the state series. So I'm going to click on it, and what it's going to do is you can see that it's got a market value there. Let me hold my light. See, it says $609. That lists the market value of that coin. But if you notice, there are 4 people down there that are trying to sell those coins. And I think is it like $750 or $740, somewhere around there. That's the cheapest one that is available. So these are members that may have duplicates, and they're selling those. So that's the only place that they can get those. But in the app, if you look at this, and I don't know, it's up in the corner where it says watching. See that little red tag? I'm watching those because I'm looking for some that will be listed under the market value. What happens is, if you're watching that, anytime the price of that coin changes, you get a text. So I just learned about this on Monday, and look at how many texts I've received, because there's coins in there that I want. And, you know, I don't want to pay the high price, but somebody at some point will need some money. And
Yeah.
I mean, I did buy one because I was looking for one of those Montana, the Appaloosa, and it was below $400. And I bought it instantly. So it got listed, and I bought it in less than 10 seconds.
So it's kind of like, this is like better than eBay, because this is actually authentication versus all the fraud that goes on. And we had another gentleman here earlier, John, who's also a member. He was doing some research, and apparently in Dubai and some other, actually, I think even in Europe, they're doing ATM Gold Machines now, where you can actually put your fiat in to get some gold. And he said, isn't that a great way for scamming to start?
Yep.
Right? Because I mean, there probably could be legitimate ones that are around, but you know, people are very clever now in being able to create other machines that appear to be the legit ones, but are not. And I know this for a fact, because many years ago, there used to be an ATM machine at an airport, and people were going in to try, you know, when you show up at the airport and you're trying to get cash because you just showed up, and they're putting in their cards and all their information, but there's no money coming out. And they go, oh, it's closed. That was a fake machine. And in 24 hours, I forget how many millions they absconded with.
Yep.
And so who's to say they're not going to do this with the gold? You know, put your little gold little nuggets in there that are just, because there's so much fake stuff. People are getting very clever.
Yep.
And that's why I love 7K, because people always ask me, you know, well, I have a store right down the street. I'm not that far from the store down the street. I always tell people, listen, if you can get it at that price, go get it. If you know them and you trust them, absolutely. Try to get as much as you can. But I love the convenience of 7K, and I've really started to really value and appreciate the collector series. So for me, unlike Jimmy, who might want to collect the firemen, or Cassie, who might want to collect the Polish coins, I collect the Americana because my son's American, even though I'm in Canada. So I do the Americana series. So everybody has their own little thing that they like, right? It's just like any other collection. So that was so appreciated, Curtis. You just shared so much value today. And I just I'm so excited to be part of 7K. And then of course, with all these new partners that we're having, and they're always, you know, we don't have to think about it. Like, they're always thinking about the membership. And that to me is invaluable. It's just over the top. And I know that I won't get in it today, but I might do another series where we had shared this week in our membership coffee with you about the health plan. This is like the first time we actually have a health plan for network marketers. Like, this is like insane, right? So it's very exciting. So I think we have another hand up. Kasia, please go ahead.
So Curtis, I have two questions. So first one is actually I have three questions. First one is do you know when that Polish coin is gonna, the first one will be released, and approximately, you know, is it a month or you know, maybe half of the year? And do you have idea what will be the price range of the coin?
Yes, this was the first one, and it's already been released. It was $199 is what we bought it for. That coin ungraded is selling for like $280 in the open market, because there's 3,000 of these that the Polish Mint created. 7K has just a little over 500 of them that they sent to the NGC and got graded. So they all ended up MS70s. So when the next ones, I would say in the next couple of weeks, they'll continue to release these. But this series will be throughout 2022. So you'll see, I don't know what coin to be the next one, if it'll be the butterfly, the panda, or the dog, but
you know, Curtis, I want to tell you that I was the very last one to buy the very last butterfly coin, like 3 weeks ago when they were released at, you know, 199
yep.
again. You know, I think it's gonna be a very good story and funny story between me and Tony, because we were on the phone and you know, I told her that those butterflies are released, and she's like, what? So she went there and she wanted to buy the rest of them, and I think there were 3 of them, and she tried to buy them, but she did something mistakenly, so she didn't buy them. And then 2 days later, I was like looking at the page, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it says that one of them is still available. And I was like, I was trying, I'm like, okay, let me try. And it went through. And even it showed that, you know, I purchased the coin. I still didn't believe I'm gonna receive it. I was watching email, and I was, you know, really waiting till the envelope will come to my home to really see if it happened, because that first day when Tony tried to buy them, we were discussing, is she gonna buy 3 or I'm gonna buy 1? And you know, and I actually tried, and it didn't work that day, neither for me or Tony. So I know she had to call the company, but anyway, my coin arrived, and I'm happy. So my second question is about new countries, you know, because I'm from Poland. I am having few conversation with people from Poland, but of course there are some companies already working in Poland that they are kind of established in Europe, but you know, maybe not as powerful as 7K is becoming. And I have on this call also our friend Juan from Colombia, and I would like to really understand how some people, they can start digging and searching in what they can do to support opening 7K in new countries.
Right.
Thank you.
Yep. And that's a great question. 7K is in the process of getting the foundation laid in the 7 countries that they're operating in right now. In 2022, Jason has already said that there will be more countries that we open up. If someone from another country is ready to start and they're willing to kind of go through the process of getting that country opened, realize that there are lots of things that are at play here, at risk, because when you open a new country, we really don't have no formulation that we have to get past. That country, you know, as long as that country allows their citizens to own gold and silver, it's easy. The problems is the taxes, that because gold and silver is coming out of the United States, going into Poland or going into New Mexico or going into a different country, we have that to deal with. The second thing is security getting through customs, because there's a lot of, you know, thieves, I'll call them, that when they see or know what is there, that it just would never arrive. So those are two concerns. And here's one of the things that Jason and I have talked about. That's, you know, we are going to have a 7K owned vault in the UK, which will probably be in Amsterdam. We'll also, right now, the 7K vault is in Idaho. We will also have one in Perth, which is for Australia, which will handle, you know, New Zealand and that area. Singapore will have a vault there, which will handle our Asian market. So, you know, they are looking even 5 and 10 years down the road. Here's why that will be very powerful, because now you don't have the shipping cost. You know, it costs a lot to get a monster box shipped from the United States to Australia. But imagine this technology that now 7K has these vaults scattered around the world in other countries, that for them, all it is a paper assignment. So they allow you, if you've got a 500 ounces that you purchased through your Sound Money wallet that you own, instead of it leaving Idaho and being shipped, it's basically just converted from, you know, 7K's vault in Idaho to the vault in whatever is closest to you, whether it be the Perth Mint, you know, Singapore Mint, or the UK and Amsterdam. So just look at that technology. That's what's coming. We will be the largest provider of gold and silver in the world. We are already NGC's #1 customer, or at least we will be by the end of this year, just on the projects that we have. So we are getting some traction. Yes, Tony.
Curtis, could you explain what NGC is? Because some people who are on the call, they don't know what NGC is.
Yeah. NGC is the numismatic grading company. And on the back of all of our coins, or at least the ones we use now, you'll see their logo. So if you are on, you know, online looking around, you'll see coins that might be graded by the NGC or the PCGS, and there's a couple other lower graded grading companies out there, but those are the top two that most all companies use to have their coins graded, because they're entrusted. They do great work, and you know, the quality of their work is good, and then they certify it. You know, that's what that little sticker, it's a certified of authentication is what they're doing. Is they're making that coin is real and what it is. And if the NGC sticker is on it and it's in and you can see that it's sealed in a laser sealed plastic case, you'll know that it's real. 80% of all the silver that's sold online is fake.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
80%?
80%, yep.
Holy moly, I had no idea.
Yeah, 80%. Here's another statistic that Josh shared with us. Around 80% of all the numismatic coins that are sold, even gold and silver that is sold on eBay, is fake. We are
it's kind of like those. It's kind of like those ATM machines.
Yes, we are disrupting the coin industry right now. Okay, here's what happened. In July, eBay made it where they were not allowing people to list gold and silver on eBay. You couldn't do it. You couldn't sell coins, couldn't sell gold and silver. It was gonna be worth $400 million in revenue that eBay was gonna lose if they eliminated that from their storefronts. So they chose to bring it back a couple months later. But still remember that 80% of the coins that are sold online are fake, and you got to really know what to look for and trust the person. Yeah. You know, and that's why it's so important that, you know, we are involved with 7K, because 7K does not put up with it. You know, if somebody tries to break into this case and they're a member and they, you know, say, hey, we're going to ship this person. Well, when it goes to sack and sell, they're going to figure it out because they authenticate that coin. So it's good for us as buyers knowing that that's there in place for us.
Well, that's very powerful, because I mean, I didn't know anything about that either, because I do collect, but I collect in a different type of world. And that's the biggest thing going, is all the fake stuff out there in different collections, because because technology's gotten so good and people have gotten very clever. It is really difficult to really figure out which is fake and which isn't. And especially when it comes to something like this. I mean, how would you know? It's wrapped in a box, looks really good. Like, how could this not be fake? I mean, they can fake all of this stuff. So that's what's so cool about it, is really knowing and who you're buying from. And that was a huge thing for me. And one of the reasons why, I mean, I buy gold and silver all the time at our local Vancouver bullion here in Canada, but I also do my fractional buying right here with my Sound Money wallet with 7K. It is awesome. And now I'm starting my collection series. I am just so, I can sleep. I had no idea how much I was being duped for so long.
Yep.
But you only know what you know. That's right, right? You only know. And that's what the whole purpose of the Gold Rush Mastermind is to bring amazing people like yourselves, amazing souls, to be able to share your wisdom, your journey. And hopefully it'll help people make their choices as they move forward in their journey as well. And so I thank you so much for your time. I thank everybody for showing up today. I really appreciate everybody. And sorry, go ahead, Kasha.
Dr. Kim had a question as well.
Oh, I didn't see her hand. Sorry, honey. Okay, go ahead, please, Dr. Kim. Sorry.
So I missed a chunk in the middle, but I would like to ask a couple really basic questions that will show you how uneducated I am about all of this. So when you talk about where anybody is buying gold from, where do you buy gold from?
Well, there are several authorized dealers that are online. You've got like companies like JM Bullion, you've got APMEX, SD Bullion, and there's several other suppliers around the world.
Where do they buy it from?
Where does 7K buy it from? There are
I'm sorry, let me ask my question differently.
Okay.
I assume countries own the gold.
Well,
so
you've got miners that dig it up out of the ground. That's the first thing. You got gold miners and silver miners. Anytime that somebody's digging for a metal, there are lots of metals that are inside the ground. So as a mine is working, you're probably going to have, there'll be iron, there'll be copper, there'll be gold, there'll be silver, that when it goes through their cleaning system or separating system, that metal will show up. Those mines separate it. And then those mines transfer it to a smelter, which what they do is then they clean it, they make it pure. So they'll take the silver and they'll separate all the other metals out of it, and it's pure silver. And then that silver there gets sent to dealers, and there's like 13 dealers across the world. 7K buys from about 9 of those 13. And then it goes out to brokers like 7K and other coin shops and, other private entities.
So would you agree that there is a finite amount of gold and silver held in the earth?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, they claim that it would fill like 3 Olympic swimming pools. That's the amount of gold that is in the earth, which is not a lot, but
right.
They just keep digging, and they keep, and here's the thing about it, because I've watched some of these shows on mining. The new technology that they have to find it is getting better. So they can run these scans across and they can see, there's a big pocket right here that's like 300 feet down. Well, now they've got technology that they can drill down that deep and basically mine underground and get it out. It's drilling, it's what they're doing. So there's if you look at silver, Mexico is the largest country or producer of silver. They have about 1 billion ounces a year that they can produce. Now, in a year's time, if you look at the world production of silver, it doesn't all come from mining. Some will come from recycling. Because silver is such a good electric component, it gets recycled. So a percentage of that silver will also come when it's at the melter or the smelter from recycling. So that's the process of how it's done. You dig it out of the ground, send it to the smelter, then it gets formed into bars and then sent to mints or dealers, and then they break it down from there.
Okay, great. I have more questions. I'll come back next week.
Sounds good.
Great to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Those were great questions. Thank you. Kasha.
Bye.
So I'm sorry, Curtis, but I am known as a question girl.
It's the way you
So-
learn.
So Curtis, for me right now, so let me tell you, I'm like, I'm like really fresh off the boat in this subject, and what you have shared today, I think it was for me the best value ever I've got from those calls. I didn't go to too many, but as far as one, it's my favorite. And I have a husband who's working really hard for what we have, and we also have some money here, some money there, retirement and blah blah. And I'm hearing from Tony that a lot of her friends who are joining her 7K family, that they are actually shifting, transferring they whatever savings for retirements in whatever name of accounts into gold or silver through 7K. So my question is, could we please have another call with you another time, and Tony will promise to record it, so I can show all the knowledge behind that process, because my husband is really still believing in his stocks and in his retirements, and how government is really caring about our future.
Yep. There's, I know we're about to run out of time, but that's what I see the media and the big banking system doing right now, is they're using people to cast an opinion about things. I just watched Robert Kiyosaki get interviewed on, I think it was Business Today or Today's Business or something, where they were talking about the stock markets and how well the stock market is doing. And but they bring Robert Kiyosaki on, and he's talking about gold and silver and why everybody should have gold and silver. All that did was open the door for the stock market to advertise SLV and GLD, which what that is, that's silver and gold that is sold through the COMEX. And that's what the Reddit group, if you look back in early 2020, that's what they did, is they attacked physical silver and tried to collapse the COMEX, and they got very close to letting that happen. There is not a shortage of silver right now. It's out there. Where the shortage is at is there's a shortage of people mining it. So we've used up what we have, but it's just getting harder for the mine. But now as these mines are starting to open, it's becoming more, but it's irritating to me that we call it the big banking system. They will direct you into what they want you to believe using the media. And that's exactly, they're trying to tell people that, hey, you need gold and silver. You need to buy SLV and GLD. Well, that's not, because what happened is they passed a law in March, right after the Reddit group did what they did, that gives them the ability to pay customers in physical form or fiat form. Which means is, and I'll just use this as an example. Let's say that this is a block of silver and I own it. And if I sell it to Tony, now Tony owns it, even though it's in my possession. This is how the SLV and GLD work. I could also sell it to Dr. Kim. Well, it doesn't become a problem for me until Tony and Kim want it at the same time. So I have the choice to either give it to Tony or give it to Kim. But if they both want it, then I've got to pay the other person back in fiat currency because I don't have it. That is called selling short. And that's what the stock market does, is there's companies out there that sell multiple shares of one item when, if somebody wants it, the other person can't have it. And that's when that bill was passed. It just gave them the freedom to pay us back in currency or real physical silver. So we got to be cautious when we're doing that, and know that, and it's just irritating. I'm the type of person, I'm just trying to educate people.
That is Curtis, so, that was very powerful. That was a very, very powerful share, because I'm like you. We've really been misguided. I'm going to say misguided. And I'm starting to realize now, on purpose, to get people to believe that because they're holding a piece of paper, that they're actually holding gold and silver. And that is actually not true at all. The only time it's true is when you're holding this in your hand. That is it. Yep. Right. And so it's really disconcerting for me when I hear that. And the other thing is too about that whole amazing statement was my husband is very much on the whole Bloomberg thing, like every day, because we're in a lot of different businesses with different business partners. And one of the things that he's still trying to wrap his head around is you can really hear how they're pushing the average person into different types of stocks and these types of trades. And he says the thing that is just incomprehensible to him is that what people don't understand is that they're seeing the stock market go up. But the speculation is, I don't know if people realize this, on average, it's 80 times more than the actual value that's being held. They are selling stuff at 80 times speculative future value. 80 times. It is unheard of. That is why, for people who really understand, like the Kiyosakis and the Schiffs and, some of the, Maloney's and, a lot of the, reals down to earth economists, and they're just kind of going, this is absolutely out of control. And the people that are going to get hurt is the average person. And the ones that are going to get hit the most are the retirees, because you can't change their wage. Right? If you're still in the working system, you can still kind of somehow manipulate the wage. But if you're retired, there's no wage manipulation anymore. They've already set what they're going to do. Is that correct? Am I off track, or does that make sense?
Yep, makes total sense.
Yeah, I just love what you shared today. Thank you so much. That's just amazing. So a wealth of information. And I'd love to have you come back to talk about the gold-backed IRAs. And to also even explain to people, especially for our U.S. residents, our wonderful health plan, because I know that that's a big deal as well. So thank you. Yes, go ahead, Kasia. Sorry. Go ahead.
Because I really don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because, I use my husband as an example, but it's not just my husband. I was also brainwashed into it, and so many other people. So, I'm sure there is more people like my husband and like me who were believing that our stock, what we were buying, it's gonna give us, security in the future in this or that way. And I actually, right now, I'm talking even to young people that they are heavily investing in stocks, especially in the age of pandemia, when stocks of companies like Moderna and such other companies that are going crazy from whatever they were. So I'm really apologizing for everybody who feels like I put them down. It's not that I'm putting anybody down, and especially I'm not putting myself and my husband down. It's only about realizing that there is other side of the story. There is other information that is being seriously hidden from us. And I am so grateful for this community. I'm so thankful that I can be exposed to this knowledge, and I can expose my husband and everybody else I know. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kasia. Well, it goes to the old saying, it's not about putting anybody down. This is only about, we only know what we know. We only know what we know. And then hopefully if you stay, a little bit more open-minded, open heart. I always like to say, if you have an open heart, you have an open mind. So for me, we were all in that place where going, no, don't talk to me about gold and silver. We've all been there. And then all of a sudden something happens, some pivotal moment, like what you shared, Curtis, on the first time you visit us. There's some pivotal moment that really makes you go, wait a minute, what is going on? And this is sometimes that's what it takes. And hopefully through further conversations and gatherings like this, more people will be open and start to listen. And like I said, it's all about diversification. Like I'm very, very diversified. So that's all you can do. And hopefully people will start diversifying more into actual, real, hard holding God's money assets. Because I'll tell you, I always say this on every call, it sure feels good to hold some of that. And I sure can sleep at night. So thank you again, Curtis, for your time. I know you're a very, very busy man. You both have traditional businesses and many other businesses and other commitments. So thank you for being here. It was just fantastic. And thank you everybody for all your wonderful questions as well. And I will get this recording posted right away. So appreciate all of you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.